Hello and welcome to today's wrap up. Today is Friday, September 25th. Before I start with today's agenda, I just want to remind you that earlier in the week we have watched Ed Puzzles for a Long Walk to Water, chapters 1, 2, and 3. Everybody needs to do the Ed Puzzle for these three chapters, starting with chapter 4. 4, you can't see the 4 because I'm off the screen. Chapter 4, you'll have some other options. If you're just joining this for today and you haven't done anything yet for Friday the 25th, take a second and do your class participation. You can pause and then go back to that. Right now we have the agenda. I'm going to play the agenda. It is about 2 minutes. Listen up. It'll cover everything that I'm going to go over. I am going to play a couple of videos for you. Some of the classes had issues with the video, and if you're unable to get to the video, you'll be able to see them. We will not be able to play Kahoot right now like this, but I will give you the answers to the quiz. So if you keep watching this, you will have the answers to today's quiz, which is on Canvas.
Agenda for Friday, September 25th. Agenda for Friday, September 25th. Make sure you complete today's class participation check, used to be called attendance check. Today's learning target, I will review the elements of a work of literature's plot, paying close attention to the basic situation/exposition, setting, characters, and conflict. Today's lesson. 1. Watch short videos, as a class, on the elements of plot and exposition, 10 minutes. Learn plot diagram using movie clips updated. What is the exposition of a story? Discuss breakout groups and as a class, basic situation or exposition of a long walk to water.
And I'll give you those.
What is the setting of a long walk to water? Remember time and place. Hint: there are 2 times but the same place. Who are the major characters in A Long Walk to Water?
And you can find all of this
Hint:
in
there are
chapter
2.
1. In chapter 1.
What are the initial conflicts of A Long Walk to Water? Hint: there are 2 and Solvas occurs at the very end of chapter 1. Play Kahoot.
We will be playing Kahoot.
Go to Kahoot and Mr.
M.
We'll put the code on the presentation screen of
when
Big
you
Blue
log
button.
In, make sure you're putting your
We will try
first
and get
last
through 2
name.
games,
No silly
plot,
names.
and a review of chapters 1 to 3 of ALWTW. Quiz on basic situation/exposition of A Long Walk to Water. Go to Canvas and take exposition quiz. Complete this for homework
and I will
if
give
necessary.
You the answers to that quiz at the very
Looking
end of this
back
video.
and moving forward. Week number 1 and number 2 are past due and will be in School Tool shortly. You should be working on week number 3. All of these items are due by the end of the day on Wednesday. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday.
Okay, so now if we look back at the agenda, the first clip that we're going to watch deals with plot diagram using movies. It is not narrated, so I will be reading what I see. I did not do that for class. For some of the classes, the lag time was really bad and it would have been impossible to do, but I will be able to do that now. And then the second one is on exposition. There's a narrator for that, so I won't have to read that to you. But if you click on the link,
do your students like watching explosions,
ad,
cute animals, and awesome science experiments?
We can skip the ad. The plot diagram updated. The plot diagram. The story mountain. Exposition, also known as the basic situation. Inciting incident, also the conflict. Rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Exposition is the first part of the plot diagram. It's the background information about the setting and the characters. When Elsa and Anna's father tells the story, we learn important background information that will help us understand the setting and the conflict. We learn important background information. Through this game of charades, we are reintroduced to the main characters.
Bear! Hans!
Unredeemable monster.
Greatest mistake of
We
your
see
life.
their
We didn't even
personalities and their dynamics between them.
Villain.
Oh.
In Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, we quickly learn about Miles, where he lives, his relationship with his father, his relationship with his uncle, his priorities, and that he's Spider-Man. Inciting incident. This is the conflicts, the events that sets the whole plot in motion. Without conflict, you're not going to have a story. Elsa is awoken by a voice. She follows it and awakens the elements, starting the conflict and sending everyone on a mission. In Spider-Man, Miles witnesses the Collider. And the death of Peter Parker.
This override key is the only way to stop the Collider. Swing up there. Use this key. Push the
Who
button.
sends him on his mission.
You need to hide your face. You don't tell anyone who you are.
And then you have rising action, the events that lead up to the climax. Just to name a couple, right? Because this is what is a majority of many movies and stories and books. Miles meets the other Spider-Mans, part of the rising action.
Is he in black and white?
Where's that wind coming from? We're in a basement.
Wherever I go, the wind follows. The wind, it smells like rain.
He struggles to control his abilities, all part of the rising action. It moves us to the climax, to the top of the mountain, the top of the pyramid. It's the turning point of the story. It creates a shift in plot and a change in the characters. Elsa learns the truth about her grandfather. That's the climax in Frozen. It changes her perspective on the past and present. Because of the new information, and it helps destroy the dam. The climax of Spider-Man is the big showdown. He finally masters his abilities. So Spider-Man finally mastering his abilities is the climax. Falling action is the next part. The events that follow the climax leading to the resolution. And finally, the resolution. The calm after the storm. It's when all loose ends are tied up in some way. Peace is restored. Though resolution does not have to be happy, it could be very sad. But in this case, everyone finds their place. Miles is comfortable in his new role. He gains a better relationship with his father.
When I feel alone, like no one understands what I'm going through, I remember my friends who get it. 'Cause I'm Spider-Man. I'm not the only one.
Okay, so if we look at the agenda again, this is exposition now. It is the first part of plot. If you think of that plot triangle, you have a triangle. The very first part of it is the basic situation or the exposition. An inciting incident, which was mentioned in the plot diagram clip, in this case is just referred to as the conflict.
The exposition of a story is where important details of a story are exposed. This takes place in the beginning of a story. Notice how the word exposition comes from the word exposed, which literally means to reveal or to make something known.
Also known as basic
There are
situation.
3 parts of an exposition to consider.
3 parts.
Each of these will be exposed during the exposition. First is the setting. This is the where and the when the story takes place. Next, we have the characters, which involve who is in the story. Finally, we have the main conflict or the main problem that is going to drive the action and the excitement of the story. So first we have the setting. The setting explains where a story takes place. It also explains when a story takes place.
I did not create
Sometimes
that
it's very specific.
video. This is not
For
me
example,
talking.
Romeo and Juliet takes place
But
in
that's
Verona,
definitely from
Italy
Star Wars.
during the 1300s. Other times the setting is more vague. For example, Star Wars takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. In either case, the setting is created the way it is on purpose. Sometimes the author wants the reader to be thinking of a very specific time period, such as in Romeo and Juliet. And other times, the author either cannot identify a specific time period or does not want to limit the reader's imagination by locking them into a specific time period. The characters are the second part of the exposition. This is simply the main people. It could even be animals or even objects that will be involved in the story. Not all of the main characters are introduced during the very beginning stages of a lot of stories, but at least one of the main characters in the struggle that they are going to be facing throughout the story will be introduced. The final part of the exposition is the main conflict of the story. The conflict is simply the main problem that the protagonist, who is the main character, is going to have to overcome during the story. This conflict is what helps build suspense and excitement throughout the story. In summary, the exposition occurs at the beginning of a story and exposes or reveals the setting, which is the where and the when, the characters, which is who is involved, and the conflict, which is what the problem that's going to create the excitement is. Thank you for watching this video.
Okay, so there we have exposition. And when you think of exposition or a basic situation, you really just need to be thinking about setting, time and place, major characters, and then conflict. Okay, so now time to give you those quiz answers before you can go take that quiz. And don't forget to do your class participation as well. So the first one is, what is the setting of A Long Walk to Water? If you look right on page 1 in A Long Walk to Water, you'll have that. We have right away, right here. We have Southern Sudan 2008 and Southern Sudan 1985. Those are the 2 settings. Okay, and right away, you listen to chapter 1, 2, and 3, you know that there's 2 stories going on. Okay, who are the characters? Well, you have 2 protagonists. You have Nai, and then you have Salva. You have Nai's story, which takes place in Southern Sudan 2008, and you have Salva's story, which starts in Southern Sudan 1985. Which leads us to the last part, which is conflict. Okay, Nai's conflict is her having to go get water. That's the thing that creates everything in her story, is the fact that she has to go get water. Salva's is that he has to flee his home because of the war. He has to leave home. He has to flee because of the war. So your quiz, questions, your answers. I'm going to give you the answer right here. I gave you the long, drawn-out answers, but if you're watching this, you have the other answer, which is, in this case, they're all true. They're all true. The statements that I put on today's quiz are all true. Please look at them, please read them, and please mark true so that you can get 100 on today's quiz. Okay? Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Make sure that all assignments for weeks 1 and 2 are in, and then make sure that you're working on week 3 assignments, which includes chapters 1, 2, and 3 on that puzzle of A Long Walk to Water. Along with those, there's the quizzes on Canvas. Please do those. Have a great weekend, and as long as I keep winning, I'll keep saying this. Go Bills. Go Bills. Have a very good day, and I hope my little quiz answers helped you if you are watching this. I'm out of here. Have a good day. I will see you on Monday. Monday morning, I will see you. Have a great, great, great weekend. I think tonight is definitely a pizza and wings night. Have a good evening.